What's up, y'all? It's Vitamin M coming at you with another bourbon review here. And today I'm finally going to touch on Maker's Mark. And today I have the Heart release, which is a special release. It's the second in a series where they go off of paying tribute to all the different teams at the distillery. And I'll talk more about this release in particular in a couple minutes here. But Makers has always been this brand where I've had very much a love-hate relationship with. I never thought it was really anything special when I really started getting into bourbon. I didn't taste a whole lot of a difference, maybe like a licorice taste or something similar to that Ben Holiday because of the soft red wheat in here, but never really was anything special to me until I really went to the distillery and started trying more of their products, maybe, a month or two before I went in August or so. But my best friend really tried to get me back into this, and I have to say it has succeeded. I've tried a lot of their other stuff, and this is a really good bottle. We're in for a very special treat tonight. But I really want to quickly go over what makes Makers very unique here and some of the history of that. So really, what starts with these guys is Bill Samuels Sr., he eventually had a son, Bill Jr., and his wife, Margie. So these two, they bought the distillery where it is now at Loretto, Kentucky, 20 minutes, 30 minutes south of Bardstown or so. And they had this bourbon recipe they were using. Wasn't really selling that well or anything. And as the famous story and the commercials like that go, they burned the recipe, started from scratch. He who tells the best story sells the most bottles. That part about getting rid of the old recipe, burning it, is true. It is kind of exaggerated a bit. It's a marketing gimmick at the end of the day, period, no matter how you look at it, though. But they start with the new recipes like this, and they actually try all these different yeast strains by making 7 or 9 different recipes of bread with all these different yeast strains. They'd invite their friends and their neighbors and all these different people, and they'd all try the bread that Margie would cook after Samuel would take a look at these different strains and stuff like that, and they would see how it went. And the strain that they use today was the best bread that they made back then. Pretty cool. Had no idea you could do that, and I only learned that at the distillery. So that's pretty nice. But Bill Samuels is very much the brains behind this whole operation with what he wanted to do with this. But Margie is very much the heart. Not to, tie this to that. It's called the heart for another reason. But she was very much kind of the marketing or kind of visionary when it came to the product itself and how the bottle would be. So she drew the logo, or was responsible for that, with the star and the S, and I think that it's a Roman numeral 6 or 4. Don't remember. But the name Maker's Mark was her idea. She collected a lot of old English, kind of Victorian kind of stuff, pewter cutlery and plates, and they would all have what's called a Maker's Mark on the bottom, just a logo or something to show it was that company, it was that their stamp of authenticity or genuine quality. And that's where the idea came from, to have that name, to promote a genuine high quality product that you could trust. And when this was released in the 1950s, 1958, it was pretty good. And I'll touch a little bit more on why it's important it was released then. But the wax, that's what catches everybody's eye. That was her idea. It came from the idea of a lot of cognac bottles would be coated in wax, and red was a very uncommon color for that. And she wanted to do this to be eye-catching within the store. And obviously it elevates this a little bit. It gives it a very classy appearance. Catches your eye, period. Everyone knows Makers for the wax, and that's pretty cool too. But when this thing was released in 1958, regular Makers, not this one, it was really important. It probably single-handedly saved bourbon in America. I'm serious, because vodka, Smirnoff, the Moscow Mule was on the rise, cocktails like that in the 50s. The white spirits were winning at the end of the day. Vodka, gin, tequila. Maybe not tequila at that point, but really vodka was taking over. And bourbon had really fallen out of favor. So this really invigorated that business and brought Americans back to drinking bourbon, drinking whiskey at that time. And, ebbs and flows within the market. You don't get another really big boom until the 90s or so. which I've touched on a little bit before. But that's pretty cool with this. And then the distillery visit, I went in August. It's a beautiful place. They really pride themselves on all the artwork and different things like that. It's definitely, I would say it's the most hippie of all the distilleries, but it's cool they have that approach. They put all this glass and this artwork and stuff in the distillery, and that's pretty cool. But what makes Makers really unique is part of their process is the French stave finishes. They put in these stave oak beams and stuff in the barrels to finish them. That I never understood or tasted a difference until really recently. So if you've ever picked up a bottle of any of their private select bottles, like whatever they're called around you, like Golden Hour, Ice Cream Social, Milk Chocolate Truffle, all these different ones like that, how they get those different flavors or so is indicated by those 5 numbers on the front. Now, all of those numbers add up to 10, and the number that's put under like baked American puree, or that's the only one I really know off the top of my head, like French something else. That's how many of those planks or those staves they put in. They're specially seasoned wood to get these different flavor profiles. So they'll bring out different things. So you might get like an apple pie kind of finish with a certain combination. I've got another one from the distillery called Ice Cream Social, which has a vanilla ice cream, cookies and cream taste to it. That is really good. I might do another video on that one later. But that's how they finish it. And what they did with this one is they took 2 sets of 10 staves. The first one they put it in for 5 weeks, and then the second one they did for 9 weeks to finish it off. That happens towards the end of the process. And if you do a private select pick, you'll go to the distillery, you'll pick your combinations. You'll kind of get to taste them a bit, but that's kind of cool. A lot of different distilleries, they might do like little almost like wood chunks, like little cubes, soak them in honey or something like that, or something else, or season that wood, let it air out, and then do it that way. There's more surface areas to those, so they'll have more of a pronounced taste versus just this flat, beam or something that might sit in there. Maybe it floats or something, but it's just going to probably sit in the bottom of the thing. So it's not as pronounced. It's as something like kind of what Garrison Brothers does with like their honey or something like that. I find this to be better because it's more subtle. It's not overpowering to the bourbon and the juice itself. But to touch on the heart release a little bit, this is the second within a lineup here where they focus on all the different teams at the distillery. I think I remember this one being about, online says the distillery team. I think it's like the bottling people, the distillers, kind of like that. People that are on the line bottling and putting this stuff into action, moving that product through the cookers and all this different stuff like that. That's why it's called the heart. It's these people that are really doing the grunt work, pushing the product around and stuff like that. And they'll have other ones for like, shippers or the CEOs and stuff like that. And that'll be cool. But they basically sit them down. They ask, what is Makers to you? What notes, what flavors do you kind of think of? And they give their responses and they accumulate that and they get what this is. So this says caramel, chocolate, and maple, and that'll be pretty good. I've had this, a pour of this before. I haven't cracked this open. I've only taken some of the wax off here, but this is a really nice bottle here. So I think that's everything I wanted to touch on Makers. But like I said, it's been a really on and off relationship for me with these guys. And now I'm in an on period, which is pretty good. But I'll go ahead and crack this guy open. I think I've done enough for my history lesson today. 9 minutes into this. Let's get to sipping here. So let's have a pour. So pop the cork. Oh yeah, that was pretty good. Nice little pop there. Oh yeah, that's a good pour right there. All right, place this guy right here. Put that back on there, and y'all can take a look at that label there. I mean, it's a gorgeous bottle. This is a good product here. You really can't go wrong with a whole lot of their stuff recently. Their cellar aged, I heard, is pretty good. I haven't tried that one. Makers 46 is solid. I haven't tried, I don't remember exactly what's called, but the Red Label Makers 46 is kind of okay. Their private selects are very iffy, just honestly, because of those different finishes and stuff. It's give and take with whatever you want on there. So kind of use what they say for the flavor on there as your guide. Do your research on the staves as well. I'm definitely not the expert on it for sure. So that's something to be wary of. But let's take a look at the color here. We'll hold up in the light. See it dance around. It's pretty good. Color right there. Ooh, it's a nice little amber color. Kind of darkish. A little bit of orange going on in there. That's pretty nice. Whiff on the nose. Ooh, some good solid oak there. Lots of caramel. Obviously caramel. I'm getting a lot of I get a lot of that cocoa note. Almost like a dark chocolate, not like a Hershey's milk chocolate sweetness. More that dark chocolate. Almost like a leatheriness on there as well. Not quite tobacco, but kind of that smell and that dryness a little bit with it. That's good. Some fruit as well, maybe like banana, a little bit of citrus, pineapple in there as well. Things got a lot going on here. That's pretty good. Stone fruit too, yeah. Kind of like that. Red fruitish a bit. Lots going on here on the nose. That's excellent. So with that being said, let's have a pour. Let's have a sip right here. We drink today because tomorrow we die. Oh, man. That's good. Definitely remnants of that soft red wheat, like from the Ben Holiday. Makers, you're going to get a licorice kind of taste on everything, like a sweetness in that respect. That's how they do their mash. They really only use 3 grains, corn, wheat, and rye or barley. I think it's barley. I'm trying to remember. I don't think they use rye at all because they don't really taste like that whatsoever. Oh, that smells so good. Let me take one more pour here and I'll go through the notes. But I'm really enjoying this one. Just a good caramel maple syrup consistency on the front. Some more like stone fruit, a little bit of raspberry in the middle of the tongue. Very warm feeling going down. Great viscosity. That's fantastic. That's thick. Fills your mouth, coats your tongue very well. Get a good burn going down. A little bit of pepperiness is there. Kind of that dark chocolate, leathery, lingering taste on the back. So that's pretty good. I like that quite a bit. That's hitting pretty good tonight. So that's nice. Wow, this is a good pour. This is by far, I think, one of the best bottles I've had from Makers, especially within a long time. I haven't cracked this one open yet. I've cracked this open with y'all tonight. The ice cream social bottle I'm about halfway through that. That thing is so freaking good. And unfortunately, I could only get at the distillery at that time. So I might need somebody to pick up another one for me somewhere eventually. But this is really good. Oh, man. Just a great way to celebrate the weekend. That's pretty fantastic right there. Oh, a little bit of spice on that too, like an apple kind of. That's just, there's lots of fruit moving around here. Your signature caramel, vanillas, maple on any bourbon is here. It does it extremely well though. But you get those, you get those bright notes and then the dark on the back. That's excellent right there. The proof on this is 112 on mine. It's like 107 to 114 on all of them. But, you know, I tend to like the higher proof stuff. 7 points though. Maybe you'll get a little bit of a difference. 107 to 114 you might get a little bit, but it's not astronomically different here. But everything considered here, my goodness, this is a really good pour right here. it's good to be back with Makers. That's pretty nice. I've got to give this a solid 8 3/4. This is super duper nice. Just a great finish, good start, just all around complex, lots of stuff going on here. This is a fantastic pour and a great beginning to the weekend here. So I've seen this pop up around me quite a bit. I know I'm in a place where there's a bigger market for bourbon, period. It's nice not being in an ABC state, so that's pretty good. But, you know, this MSRP is $75. I know this is a unicorn for a lot of places where it's going for like much more, like 300 or so. I wouldn't say it's that much. Probably like, you know, 100 or so is okay, stuff like that. But don't go like a few $100 on this thing, because somebody's cheating you right there. So keep that in mind. This MSRP on this is $75. Don't go berserk on it. But it is a really great bottle, and this is awesome. So thank you all for joining me tonight, and until we meet again, happy hunting. Cheers.